we try so hard to get money. And then at the same time, we try so hard to make it not mean something. And it can't not mean something given how hard we try to get it. So let's just accept that it means something, that it's meaningful. And it's not in this woo-woo way like, your bank account is some representation of you. It just means, no, you have given something meaningful to acquire that. So let's keep the meaning alive by making sure we, add a little intention to how we use it.
How you make it, how you wanna make it, how you make it, how you wanna.
You are not alone.
No, you are not. Friends, welcome back to another episode. Today we have a very special guest on the show. We have Jesse Mecham. Jesse is the founder of YNAB, and he's here to talk about his brand new book, Never Worry About Money Again. Jesse, welcome back to the show. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me,
Jesse.
back. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah,
you can be a repeat guest. No. I guess, we don't normally do this, but
thanks for making it.
This time we'll do it.
And this is your first time with Jesse on the show.
Is that right?
Yeah, because you were, I think you were on paternity leave.
Yeah, I think so. So that was a long time ago.
And it was just me and Jesse, and we played a silly questions game.
Oh, so that means it's been a really long time since
they had me wear a wig. They had me wear a beard, but I couldn't sell it. I just could not sell it. So
yeah, I don't watch any of the episodes that I'm not in, so I don't know about that one. It's really just listen to my own voice. That's why I listen.
Well, let's get right into it. So Jesse, back in 2017, which feels like ages ago, you wrote a book. You Need a Budget. And my guess is probably most of the budget nerd audience read that book. So I'm curious, what's the difference between this new book and the one you wrote back in 2017?
I mean, honestly, 8 more years of life, 8 more years of teaching people how to get good at money, 8 more years of seeing people come back to us, describing these experiences they're having with their money, describing the difference that it's making in their lives, and not just me, but like the whole team kind of learning as we go. And you guys have mocked me before for how we've iterated on the rules, and
just light ribbing.
A light ribbing. So
that's all.
and what's interesting is those rules that I wrote originally in February of 2005.
Yeah.
Have seen many variations, and I hold them the least dear among all people. I'm the quickest to be like, wait, could that be different? Could we say it differently? And we really started pressing on that in the last 3-4 years, where I was like, man, is there a way that we could cut to the chase quicker with people? Is there a way we could teach this in a more, easily accessible way, quicker to understand? And that is some of what the book hopefully does really well, is articulated in the simplest form we've come up with yet. So the end outcome for YNABers is going to be the same, but I think their relationship with money will be improved, and I think they will find it's easier to understand, and when you've kind of fallen off the track, maybe easier to right yourself and get back on.
Yeah, it really is like a lot of the same principles, but told in a better way, I think. And also there's so many more stories in this one than the first book. Like it's just full of people's experiences.
There was a time when we're hopefully going to get the audiobook out here at some point, but I've recorded it, and it's just a matter of doing all the other stuff that goes along with it. And reading the customer stories was the part, I'm not like going to be overly emotional reading my own book. Frankly, I'm kind of done with it for a little while. I want to take a little breather, be like, I've stared at this thing for so long. But when I was reading it for the recording, reading the customer stories was moving. And I hope people feel the transformation in those stories.
Yeah, when you read it, don't skip it, because sometimes you read a book and there's like a little gray box and it feels like extra. You know what I mean? And you might be tempted, I'll just skip past that. Don't skip the stories, guys. That's where it's at.
It really is, and it is a demonstration of people going from bad with money to good at money, and really seeing their life transform in ways that you can tell it's really surprised them.
Yeah. It's funny. It's been a long time coming where we like finally land on something. Cause I think really all those years ago when we made that episode making fun of you of all the different ways that we've changed the rules over the years, the reason why we made that episode was we had just started looking at the old 4 rules again and saying, okay, wait, what changes should we made? So we were like, oh, we're gonna change this really soon. So let's kind of like make an episode talking about, hey, how this has changed in the past, right? And then we didn't change it for like a year or more.
Yeah,
because we
couldn't come up with good solutions.
Yeah. It took a lot longer and a lot more time, and we've had a few iterations, but I feel like we've really landed in a really good place, and that is what is in the book now. And I'm really excited about it. So it's good. Okay, I want to talk about your donut story. So you open with the story from when you were in college. You couldn't afford to spend 50 cents, or you didn't feel like you could afford to spend 50 cents. Yeah, on a donut, right? So what did that tiny moment of deprivation kind of crack open in you? And that's the first part of the book that you talk about.
First, it's upsetting that the donut was 50 cents because that dates me. You can't find a donut for 50 cents. I'm like that guy that's like, I used to go to the movies for a nickel and take a bus fare as well, and buy a hot dog. And that doesn't happen anymore. So it dates me a little. But yeah, it truly was 50 cents. To give people context, mine and Julie's rent was dirt cheap. It was $350 a month, including utilities, including a phone line that we didn't have to pay extra for. It just ran out of the wall. It was a weird old technology, but that was kind of the world we lived in. And so 50 cents was still small back then. What was that moment of deprivation? What it did for me was I was dealing with 2 worlds. One world where we're doing everything right, and we were so disciplined and so firm. And like, I had read so many personal finance books up to that point. I always enjoyed them. And I was like, we are hitting it. We're saving up for these things, these meaningful goals. We're going to try and get through school and not borrow any money. And like, we're killing it. We're so good at this. And then there was this other side where I'm walking past that donut and I feel this, oh, I can't have it. And I know there's a part that's like, yeah, it's 50 cents. You can. And there's other parts like, no, you can't. This like overbearing restriction. And it was just this moment where I'm like, wait a minute. Like, if I can't do that, like, what is this all for? Like, what are we doing? It was just this tremendous weight. And this coming from, if you had examined our finances, you'd be like, wow, you guys are really going after it. You're really checking all the boxes. But there was one box we weren't checking, which was like, is this your plan for your money? Or is this just an amalgamation of several books where you've decided, I guess this is what we're supposed to do?
It was almost like you had other people's priorities on your money instead of your own.
Yeah. And then, I get back home that night and I'm telling Julie, I'm like whining to her, and I was like, this is just suffocating. And we decided then and there, like, okay, well, let's give ourselves a little breathing room. Like, let's make some of this ours. And it wasn't a lot. The change in the plan wasn't dramatic. It involved like a little bit of spending money, like literally $5 for me, $5 for Julie. That buys 10 donuts if you guys are doing the
10
math.
donuts, there you go.
and then like a gym membership, we're like, no, we're going to do this. And a little bit of money for date nights, a little bit of money for date nights. A lot of times dates didn't cost anything anyway. But that, just carving that out and being like, no, we're going to make this ours. Do we still care about these goals? Yes. Mm-hmm. Then it felt like we were on our way. It was ours now.
Yeah.
What I found interesting about that story is you had this line, if I couldn't feel good about spending 50 cents, what income would ever be enough? Because I think a lot of people, when they're in those situations and they feel that deprivation, they want a little bit more breathing room, they instantly go to income is the solution.
Yeah. And we just have too much evidence that it's not. There's a subset of the population where income is the solution. They truly have an income problem, but those aren't the people that watch Budget Nerds. Those aren't the people that pick up this book. And those aren't the people that have tried YNAB and are using it. Those people have had this cognitive dissonance moment where they're like, man, I feel like I make enough. What is going on? and they'll look back at their 20-something self and they'll realize they're making quite a bit more than they used to, and they're still feeling that same angst, that same worry. So yeah, income for a subset of the population, income is the solution. But for the vast majority, it is not. And that can be a little bit of a siren song that it's like, oh, once I just earn a little more, then this problem is solved. You see it in micro format as someone says, oh, when I'm paid on Friday, my problem will be solved. It's the same thinking where it's like, okay, money later will solve this problem. And, like if I get that commission, once that commission lands, now my problem is solved. And saying when I earn more money, my problem is solved is the same thing, maybe on a slightly larger time horizon, but it's the same idea that we don't like this squeeze we're in. We don't like the scarcity we're feeling. And we're trying to find a way out by pushing something. And what we're trying to push is, well, we'll get more cash at some point.
Yeah. I never made that connection where it really is. Yeah. The same thing of it's like, well, everything's going to be fine once I get paid on Friday, but it's just further out. It's like, well, in 10 years when I make partner or something like that,
exactly.
then everything will be fine. Or even if I get a 5% raise, everything's going to be fine,
Mm-hmm.
But then you get there and you still have the same problem. It's kind of like I was talking to somebody about the geographic solution. Have you heard of this? Where people say like,
little arbitrage people like to do. Yeah.
Well, they're like, if I move to this new city, everything's going to change, right? It's just, somebody said, I think the quote is, the geographic solution doesn't work because wherever you go, there you are. Right.
That one kind of hurts a little. Yeah.
Right. But the problem is your own mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can change that, then you can actually get some traction. So
I love that.
Yeah, it's good.
So reflecting back on this donut moment, you realized you were bad at money. And you go on in the book, you propose that to get good at money, you have to learn how to see money as you. Now, I think there's a lot of people who would be like, nah, man, like, money, it's just money. It's just a tool. It's a necessary evil. How would you respond to that?
I disagree with every single one of those sentences. The word just in front of it, I already am like, nah, how dare you say just?
How dare you minimize this?
Yeah. It's, you can minimize money as soon as you stop trying to get some. Like, then you're welcome to be like, no, look, Jesse, like, I don't care about money at all. And look at me. I don't even try and get any. I'd be like, wow, I actually want to sit down and learn more about you because this is going to be an interesting conversation. But for everybody else, we try so hard to get money. And then at the same time, we try so hard to make it not mean something. And it can't not mean something given how hard we try to get it. So let's just accept that it means something, that it's meaningful. And if we accept that it's meaningful, I was just kind of toying with it a while back. And I was like, well, what does it mean then? What is money? And people are like, oh, it's a medium of exchange. It's a store of value. And you can take issue with some of those things, or you can dive deep on those. And I have both. But when you think about everything you give up to get that money, you're not giving up, but you are giving a bit of yourself. You're giving your time, energy, all of your knowledge, all of your life experience, all kind of rolled up into this moment where Ben is thinking, hearing, interpreting, figuring things out, and offering something to the market in the form of a killer next question, I'm sure, Ben. So that's this idea, right? Like, you're there in the moment, and that's all you've got is like, this is it. This is me. Everything rolls up here. And so we're offering something of value to the market, and we hope that the market responds and gives something back. But what we're offering is ourselves. And it's not in this woo-woo way, like, your bank account is some representation of you. It just means, no, you have given something meaningful to acquire that. So let's keep the meaning alive by making sure we, add a little intention to how we use it. That's all.
It's just an acknowledgement that this is important to you, and the way you spend your time,
absolutely, and
your energy and your focus is proof of that, right?
Yeah. Elevating money in your mind. I hope the book elevates money as something, not a necessary evil, but a precious resource.
Right.
Or otherwise, what are we doing? We're all just pursuing this necessary evil. We're pursuing something evil, Think about, like, forget necessary. It is evil then, right? And we're all just out here just going after this evil thing. all day long, every day. And I'm sorry, I just don't feel evil doing that. I don't feel that. And we all don't. What we've done is kind of said, because money is hard, or because money is stressful, or gives us angst, or is a source of worry, that is bad, or it causes arguments, or there's friction, or I wish I had more for my kids. Name your thing, but you're looking at it as like this source of those negatives. And we're just trying to turn it around and say, no, this is a source of tremendous blessing, tremendous positive in your life, if you'll have it.
Yeah, I think people worry if they elevate money in their life, if they admit that it's important to them, it means they're greedy.
Yeah.
Gordon
Gekko kind of a vibe. It's like, at all costs, just got to get more. There are people like that for sure. Like, we can take things too far any direction. Be like, hey, I'm really into my health, and you can take that too far. I'm really into, I don't know, name your thing. It's like, you can take that too far. Like, we can't invalidate something by going to an extreme. And like, isn't that interesting though, Ben? Like, if you want money, you're greedy. If you save money, you're a hoarder. If you don't spend money, you're a tightwad. Like, where's the line that means like you're good at it? Like, where is that spot where it's like, oh, that person's good at money? That's where I want people to be.
Yeah,
it's not with all the labels. My word,
right?
This doesn't do
exhausting.
For us.
It's like you have to hit this like perfect middle.
It's like this. Yeah, it's like
that doesn't even exist.
Needle. Yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah, it's just, hey, admit this is important to you, and it's okay.
Yeah.
The greed is when you're doing evil things to get it. Right.
Yeah. And then we're into like morals and philosophy, and we can stay there all day long, and we can all just like wax philosophical, but that's fine. But to say that money isn't meaningful when we give so much of ourselves to get it, I just don't accept that.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
It has meaning because of what we give to get it.
Yeah. And that means that you should focus on how you spend it, which is the next part of the book. So that first piece is like, change your mindset, right? Money is you. It's important. You should admit that. But the other side is learning how to spend it well, and the focus on spending. So say more about that. Like, you say money's meant to be spent, and you literally mean all of it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Talk about that.
It's all meant to be spent over some time horizon. So I have money in my wallet that will be spent today, I'm sure. And then I have money that'll be spent next week on an electricity bill or something like that. And then money in October, we're going to go to Disney World if all things line up. So money's going to be spent for that. So is that savings? Like, am I saving up for Disney World? You got to save up a lot. I think it's gotten so expensive. I remember the days, that kind of vibe. But we're saving up for it. And then what are we going to do when we get to Disney World with all those churro wagons that are everywhere? We're going to spend. You're going to spend, and we're going to enjoy it. So that money that's like this Disney money, it's just spending money. It's just spending at later. And then we're socking money into our 401k. YNAB has a killer 401k, a little plug, we have a killer 401k. We're socking money into that, and it's got great investment choices. So you're doing all that right. And then at the end of the day, that money's totally going to be spent. If not by you, Ben, then by one of your kids. Absolutely. And that's a good thing. That's a feature, not a bug there. So
you don't even the money that you hope to give to your family after you pass away, you don't hope that they just hoard it, right?
Yeah.
You hope that they spend it.
Give it to a charity. Charities by law have to spend so much amount of their money, or they aren't considered a charity. It's an IRS rule.
Right.
Otherwise, you'd have people just hoarding money, avoiding taxes with a pile of money, and being like, that's a charity. We just haven't decided how we're going to use our money yet. And the IRS is like, no, you can't do that. You actually have to spend that money. So imagine giving it to a charity, and the CEO of that charity is just like, we're just going to hang on to it. You're like, no,
I would be mad about
do
that.
The thing you want to, the money is supposed to do something here.
Right.
And what we want to do is really take the legs out from underneath savings, because people have this like moral thing attached to savings, this big should attached to it. Like, well, I'm supposed to be saving. I should be saving. And then maybe they do save. And then something happens to their car and they have to go into their savings. And now they feel bad because they're no longer saving. And it's just this weird psychological game where you've made it like morally superior to save your money until it needs to be spent. Like, let's just be done with all of that. Money is only and ever solely able to be spent. And now that that's the case, that it can only ever be spent and there's no other use for it, we need to decide how to get good at it.
Yeah. As we've said before, there's no such thing as savings. Like
Yeah.
saving money, it's not even a thing because all you're doing is spending later, right?
Yeah.
And that's like such a Jedi mind trick that it's one of the biggest Jedi mind tricks that YNAB has done to me, I think, is because it actually makes me want to save because I'm not a saver by my nature. I'm more of a spender. So, but if I can say, well, the reason why I'm saving this is to spend it later, then it's actually, I actually kind of want to save, right?
We're all just spenders on different time horizons.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So we have money is you. Money is meant to be spent. Like that's the equation for getting good at money. So now the question is, well, what do you spend your money on? And that kind of leads us to the crux of the book. You're asking the question, what's it for?
Yeah.
Now, I found it really interesting when you were kind of thinking back on this donut moment, this moment of deprivation that kind of cracked something open in you. You and Julie realized that you were answering the question without actually ever asking it. So talk about that.
Yeah, it was, I mean, again, I'd alluded to these personal finance books I'd read, and I'd read all the classics, liked them a lot. And you're told, like, save for retirement, save for a house, buy assets, live on less than you earn, all that stuff. And it's all fine. But we're doing that and had never, and kind of been like, okay, our money's for this, 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 and this, until we actually pulled back and said, okay, what is this money for? We didn't come up with our own answers. They had just been dictated to us kind of like a default. And when we did, you'll find that there's massive overlap. Like if we were to all like overlap our plans in YNAB, I'd be like, hey, AI, find overlap between Ernie, Ben, and Jesse. Like there'd be massive amounts. Like the Venn diagram would be pretty boring. Where it would be interesting is where we didn't overlap, right? Or be like, oh, well, tell me more about this. And you'd start to see stuff that lights up Ernie, lights up Jesse around just our kind of unique spending DNA. And when you ask yourself the question of what's it for, you're asking you. You're not referring to, I mentioned AI. You're not asking AI like, hey, what should my money be for? Like that would be like asking Reddit, what should my money be for? Well, okay, like they'll give you all kinds of sarcastic, funny answers, and maybe one or two are right, but you really have to ask yourself. So the question, it appears simple. I mean, what's it for? But it's hard to answer. It really is. It's tough because you're having to just ask yourself and really find out a little bit about yourself. And yeah, that's not always easy. That's where real work is.
It is very difficult. And I love this so much. And I've been using YNAB 13 years, right? So I'm a budget nerd. I know this stuff. But it really is crazy of how many shoulds there are in a person's plan. You just naturally start doing what you see other people doing around you. And then when you stop and ask that question, it's like, oh, what do I actually want? I mean, Christy and I, if we have this chunk of money that just kind of happens to come into us like some sort of windfall, and we have to make a decision like, hey, we can do anything we want with this. We just kind of like go back and forth and then like, oh, we'll talk about this another day because it's hard to actually figure out what we want that money to do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the beauty of it though. Like the learning happens in the consternation, in the figuring, in like the weighing of it. And that's where you just start to figure out what really gets you going. And that's one of the things money is for, is just to be a unique expression of you. Whether it's a windfall or a regular paycheck.
That's good. Can we talk about give every dollar a job and letting that phrase go? And 'cause I guess what's it for is a replacement for that. But yeah, so what does this question do that give every dollar a job didn't?
The outcome will be the same. Every dollar will have a job. Every dollar, like we'll know what every single dollar, what it's for. The outcome's absolutely the same. Clarity on what someone wants their money to do. The end. The win in change. Well, two things. One, changing it to a question does turn it on the person. So before you're kind of like, hey, play this song, play this song, play this song. And now it's kind of like, hey, what song do you want to play? And you're like, oh, geez, I don't know, And it's like, okay, we're just making music, but I'm not going to, like, what song and it just changes a little. A question is a little more inviting, a little less dictatorial, a bit more just like, it's not I'm telling you what to do, but it's kind of like, I'm just assisting you. It's a way of teaching. Like the Socratic method is questions, right? So we're asking that one question. So the fact that it's a question and not a directive, I think is a win. The other win is it's not a metaphor anymore. And while I'll probably say till I'm dead, I'll be saying, yeah, hey, you got to give every dollar a job, because it's a useful metaphor at times for people to kind of grasp it and maybe visualize what their money's doing. So it's useful, but when the crux of what someone's doing is metaphorical, you run into just a teaching point of friction that doesn't have to be there. So when we're talking about, I would be teaching someone, say, okay, now just ask yourself, what's the money for? It's like you're a boss and you're just giving every one of your dollars a job. Okay, we're good to go, right? But the crux of it isn't metaphorical. And I think that's also a win. One fewer spot for someone to kind of get hung up on, oh, wait, hold on a second. Do I really get this? It's just on its face. It's just a very simple question with answers that are available when someone does the work.
Yeah. I was struck by how much this question, what's it for, resonated with our coaches, with our certified YNAB coaches, because so many of them told me, yeah, that's what I do when I sit down with someone. Like, I don't say like, let me explain the concept of giving every dollar a job. They just sit down and say, okay, here's how much money you have. What is it for?
Yeah.
And let's assign it into those categories. And so it's much more of like a coaching prompt than a rule that you should follow. Right.
Yeah. And it's also short, so it fits really nicely in software.
That matters. One, It really does. Yeah. But I love it because it almost feels so obvious. It's like, of course I should be asking what my money is for, but nobody asks it.
Yeah.
Right. And if you ask that question, I think it makes people's eyes widen and say like, oh, there's possibilities,
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting. So I like that. Okay. So let's get into the answers then, because we got the question, what's it for?
Yeah.
And you can say there's really only 5 answers. You say for now, for later, for ease, for you, and for change. So let's just talk through each of those, and I'm sure we'll have some rabbit holes we can go down on each of them. So
yeah, you guys do rabbit holes. You guys do rabbit holes.
We do. Well, I do rabbit holes. Ernie pulls it back.
Yeah, I'll bring us back.
Yeah. 5. There are 5 categories, right? Inside those 5 is everything. But I'll first say you have to consider all 5, because you have to have it has to be a thorough and complete consideration of what money could be for. If you were just to say, well, I'm going to focus on just now, we do that somewhat sequentially, but if you aren't ever focusing on things that the money would be needed for later, like a car repair or that Disney vacation, then the now, like you've handled the now, you've eliminated the worry for now, you've handled bills that are due now. So like the worry has definitely gone down. You're feeling good. But what we're always trying to do with those answers is handle the worry in the moment. And we only ever can worry in the moment. You can't worry in the future. You may, but you can't. And you can't worry. We can only ever feel that in the moment. So you can think about the answers as ways of protecting the present moment and eliminating that worry. So of course you handle now. And then you start to think about later, be like, okay, the car's making a funny noise. We do have that Disney thing planned. And you can be like, okay, yeah, we'll need some money for later. Now what I've done is I've protected that moment where the noise gets really loud and there's suddenly smoke. That's not a worry moment anymore, right? The worry's still not there. It's a present moment. Smoke's coming out of the car, but I've got the money for it, right? Or we're at Disney and at the churro wagon, and I'm just like, how many churros can we, and worrying. And I'm not worried about rides and fast passes and all that. Oh my gosh. The person assigned to just be on their phone like this all the days, that's that ends up kind of being me most of the time. Anyway, I'm not complaining. I'm just making an observation. So you've got that. And instead of worrying about what place you are in line, people are worried about their money. Should we have done this? I don't know. Can we do this? They're putting it on a card. They're saying yes to things that are giving them angst. They're saying no to things that maybe they could have and they don't know it. We're protecting that moment from worry. So as we consider all of the possibilities of money with those 5 answers, all we're really ever doing is just keeping worry out of the present moment. Now, the interesting one, I can go through them step by step if you want, guys, or we can just kind of hop around. But ease is an interesting one that we're bringing back. It kind of went away in 2016, and we're bringing it back in full force. We felt like we had lost something. I don't know what, Ben, like a year later, maybe.
Yeah.
We're like, we think we lost it. And then it took us 7, 8, 9 years to come back around to it. Not for not knowing, just kind of always just working on stuff. So when we're talking about ease, it's not like you're on the beach with a martini kind of ease. We're talking about the system of money itself being easy. And that's where we're teaching people again, as we did for the first 10 years of YNAB's existence, what you earn in August, you use in September. What you earn in September, you use in October. That's always so hard for me to do. I have to like think hard about what month follows what month. But so yeah, you're just depleting that money, and then as you're depleting it with your monthly spending, your earning is kind of filling it back up. So having people spend money this month that they earned last month makes the whole bill paying process, everything, so easy. Like I mentioned earlier, like I might have an electricity bill next week. I literally might.
Right.
It's on auto pay and it'll go out, and that'll be.
You've already paid it in your mind because you assigned
it. The money's there and it'll just go.
Yeah.
So that when we're dialing in the system itself, it's just another way of making sure that worry doesn't come into that present moment, because the system itself can be so tenuous and tedious and brittle that you're like, oh wait, that paycheck was supposed to pay this and this and this. And oh no, I thought this, and one little thing goes awry, one bill is forgotten, one bill is paid a little too early or whatever, and things get worrisome again.
Yeah.
And then the other one that's interesting that I want to hit on in the for you part is we really want money to be more and more an expression of you, of what you want your money to be. And it's interesting to see when people have covered most of their bills and they're doing pretty well, they will still carry around this worry of like, is this all there is just kind of the money in and out, in and out, in and out. And when we focus like, hey, when is the money for you? We get to have the person really introspect and start to feel like they can personally have a say on what uniquely their money will be able to do. And it's a fun spot to be. So that's a source of worry. It's not as big a worry as the electricity bill is, or power is going to be turned off. It's not that kind of worry, but it's a subtle kind that can slip in that people maybe miss. But then once you start addressing it, you realize like, oh yeah, I was carrying that around,
Right.
a little bit of like worried, like, is this all there is with my money? Just this endless treadmill.
Yeah.
So what's something in your plan right now that is uniquely you and Julie?
I wish I could say Disney World, because that would mean no one else was there, and we could just
Right.
we could just go on all the rides however we wanted. No, that's not it. Julie and I did our favorite trip ever last year. And I say trip meaning just she and I should call it a vacation. A family trip involves kids. A vacation involves no kids.
Exactly.
Yep.
So
Right
we went on
on.
our favorite vacation, and we went to the Alps and we hiked, and they would carry your luggage. They would just transport it to a new hotel. And then you would hike from one beautiful place to another beautiful place and end up at this great hotel where they do saunas and they have a nice dinner for you and you shower. And then the next day you go and do it again. And so we would have like 6-7 hours of hiking in the Alps in September, rolling hills and occasional rainstorms. And I did get electrocuted by a fence when I was soaking wet. But beyond that, it wasn't too bad. And we had just all this time just to talk with each other and hang out and do something that was adventurous and strenuous, and then get back to this new hotel and just have it be just luxury and so wonderful. That if I literally was working with Claude a couple of days ago, and I described that trip, and I'm like, extract what I like, and it did a pretty good job of being like, okay, you're looking for this kind of vibe, and I was like, so what's our next thing like that? Like, I want to repeat that, and so that's where I get lit up, like time with me and Julie, time to talk, be a little adventurous, see beautiful places, and then stay in, sleep in a bed that's like way too plush for the environment. That's what I like. So,
yeah, it's like the strenuous activity and then the plush bed.
Over the top plush, sauna stuff.
Do you think it really was
so
that
great.
plush, or was it just feel that way because you had been hiking?
Doesn't even matter. Perception is everything.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. They're like, he was actually on the floor, but he just felt like that was really good. So, yeah, it was, I mean, you can kind of hear it in my voice. Like, I loved it so much. I want to do that again with her. So we're figuring out our next spot, and I'm so jazzed for it. Plug to Alpine hikers. They're the ones that set it up, and dare I say, it's downright reasonable. The ticket's over. That was where you got to spend, but worth saving our money for, and then spending it with no regrets whatsoever.
It sounds amazing. I'm gonna have to hit you up and
and I didn't even mention woodworking. I went totally a different direction than you guys expected. So.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about for ease a little bit, because I feel like that's kind of the one, like like for now makes sense, for later makes sense. When you say for ease, it's kind of like, what do you mean? Yeah. And I really think, like you said, it's a little bit of a return for us, because I think when we moved from live on last month's income, that was like the old rule 4, to what it was next. We did kind of lose, like, it kind of almost became an emergency fund, but and that was the benefit. It's like, okay, if you get a month ahead, you'll have all this money that you can use in emergency. And that's, I feel like we kind of lost the plot there a little bit.
Yeah,
it's not an emergency fund.
No,
it is purely this just making the whole system work better.
Yeah,
right.
It's just an optimization. Yeah, straight up. Once you've optimized it, you can just stay there. You don't have to keep going. Like, you get a month ahead, and then you're just you're on a treadmill where you're always just walking ahead of it. Like, you're good. And in that way, it's, if you can view it as simple as like, oh, it's just he's optimized his system to just be easier to do. But it's such a win for people. Like, it's a simple thing, but when they do it, it's like, oh my gosh. A lot of them are living on the float and don't even realize it. They're living on a credit card and then earning money to pay off the card that already has a balance. So we get them off of that. That's like, they're like 2 steps away from optimization. And then the next step is they're just, as they earn money, they spend it better than float, but still not great. And now what we've got is, as they earn money, nothing. And then a month later, they spend it.
Yeah. I'm always trying to get people to tell stories about this, about what it feels like to get a month ahead and have that ease in their life, because it is something I kind of have to be like, just trust me, like, just do this. Yeah. If you get to the other side, you'll love it. And I think there's almost a point of pride for a lot of people, because, like, especially like a personal finance nerd, this is like a thing where they're like, well, I'm good at money. And they point to, because I have all these paychecks perfectly timed.
Yes.
I have this bill perfectly timed to this paycheck. So like the money comes in just in time, and then it goes right out, and they have the calendar all sorted. And that means they're good at money because they're paying close attention to that. And it's like, no, to be good at money means you don't even have to think about that at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it is as simple as getting a month ahead. Yeah. Like, get a month ahead, then see if you still need that spreadsheet that you've been managing. And I love spreadsheets. There's a funny comedian. I need to know his name so I can give him all the credit. His name's Brian something. It was on Nateland, through that production company. But he talks about how he had to spend $3,100 on a credit card to remove a tree from a storm. So he's like, oh, I spent the money. He didn't want to spend the money. And then he gets his credit card statement. He's like, why is that credit card so big? That bill's so big. And he sees the $3,100 and he's like, what? I spent $3,100 on a tree? He's like, geez, I've spent $6,200 on a tree. There's the joke. and then he notices a little while later that his bank account is down quite a bit. He's like, why is my bank account so low? And he's like, oh, I paid for that stupid tree again, for the third time. And I was like, that's the first time I've seen a comedian give a pitch for using a debit card. The whole time, I just thought I was just like messing around a little bit by only using a debit card, but he actually made a pretty funny thing. He's like, I spent $9,300 or 63 or whatever. No, $9,300 on that tree. And it was funny because he was making the point of like, it just didn't go away. It was like charge and then see the charge and then pay down the charge. It's 3 different hits. And of course, as a comedian, they can nail what they're trying to convey there. And I just thought that was so well articulated. Like, yeah, this thing just keeps resurfacing. It could have been a one and done, but instead the tree thing kind of keeps haunting him. That's an example of the system kind of being noisy for no good reason.
Yeah, you dealt with the pain of that 3 times instead of just dealing with it once and being done with it. And so it grew, like because your focus is on this negative feeling, and so the negative feeling grows.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Look up the special, guys. I don't want to take that's a guy's joke that he worked on and wrote. So
great joke, Jesse. I can't believe you came up with that. That's so good.
Please go see it. Brian, shoot, I should put it in the notes, guys. You got to look it up and make sure everyone has it in the notes.
We'll put it in a comment. Yeah.
All right, I want to talk about For Change. I'm actually really, really excited for this one. Really excited to see what comes out of the community because at least as I've kind of been a part of YNAB for all these years, change is always about change that happens to you, right? You get a flat tire, there's a big car repair, so you have to adjust. You roll with the punches was, the metaphor that we used. You would take money from home maintenance, you'd put it in your auto maintenance. But now there's this focus also on change that happens because of you. This change that you create in the world. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. I almost didn't include change as a thing. I was just like, if you've answered the first 4, and we end with you would end with a pretty strong, like the For You chapter is probably my favorite chapter because I was so reminiscent about like our New York trip it was almost 10 years ago. And it just was fun to write and think back and be like, man, what a time. Everything felt so good about how we were using our money. So I felt like we could have ended it there. But as I'm getting feedback mainly from the team, I was wanting to just be like, if you've answered the 4 questions, don't you know that you can change your mind and re-answer them?
This was me, Jesse. I was one of those people who's like, we can't let go of this.
Aaron, like, not just you, although you were loud and obnoxious about it. No, so it was one of those things where I was worried, like I wanted it to be, even simpler. But we have 20 years of experience where we've been telling people they can change their plan and they see it as like this light bulb moment. Right.
It's so powerful.
And you were rightly so afraid, like we're going to lose that explicit call out. So we bring it in and I was like, well, where can I put change? And I liked where it landed. Like, okay, you've answered the questions and now we just need to kind of revisit.
Do it again. Yeah.
But it felt a little strange still to have it be this, okay, here are your 4 answers. And then here's your other answer to change your 4 answers. And I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember where it was. Somewhere along the way, I was like, now hold on, Jess. I had the answer for change. I knew that was it. But framing it that way instead of rolling with the punches that come at you, having it be for change, suddenly I was like, oh, this isn't just you, like money for you. This is how do you want to change yourself, your environment, your household, your family, your little community, your broader world. It can be as big or as small as you would like it. And that's when I got super jazzed about calling that out. It was something that you see in the stories throughout the book. And we had gathered a lot of, we gather stories all the time. And we've been seeing those stories for years where people have changed their world because they've seen that money can do that. But we'd never called it out. Like, do you guys know what you can do? Like, you know that you can change where you live, and yes, you'll still be there, as you said.
Yes.
But you can change where you live, you can change yourself. And that was where I felt like I got it was like I could have my cake and eat it too, because we could say, hey, sometimes change comes at you, you got to deal with it. That's life. But you can also say, hey, this life itself, you can affect change there. And I really am happy with where it came down. I think we'll see people be able to more easily call out that they are doing that as a result of the book.
That's good.
All right, final question, Jesse. We've talked a couple times, mentioned that this book has been built on dozens and dozens of community stories. So now that the book is out there in the world, what's that story that you hope keeps coming back to you time and time again?
There's one in there. This woman described, and it is pretty emotional, where she describes basically living in, destitute and learning. Her mom was destitute and she was there with her mom as this little girl, and just learning, like, when we have a little money, we use it because it's not going to be there. What we've proven is we don't have money very often. So when you get it, you better enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a common thing when money's very tight. So the way she describes this, like, she's almost incredulous at herself in the story where she's like, I'm buying a house. Like, I'm doing all these things. Like, that story that was written for her, and she just, like, did a hard left turn. I was like, not doing that. It was like, she's incredulous. Like, the way she wrote it, she, like, almost can't believe it's even her. And it's a total transformation. And I will never forget it. I don't hope that I'll always remember it. I know I will never forget that. It was epic. And then I want to call out, sometimes it's like the tiniest little things for people that are they're meaningful and they're small. Like, they're objectively small things. But when you do put the electric bill on auto pay, when you do notice that you haven't thought about money for an entire day, right? When you notice that, like, money has gone quiet in this really positive, good way, those are all parts of that transformation. So it does not have to be this big arc. It can just be you going from bad to good at money in your little world where you make a difference, the end. And that is enough. That is more than enough.
Yeah, it's good. Should we do the rapid fire questions now, Ernie?
Let's do it.
All right. So rapid fire, Jesse, you're good at this. I'm bad at this.
Well, now you prefaced it, I feel a lot of pressure. Thanks, man.
Well, you're good at just, like, answering question, moving on. I can't move on. So
yeah, I gotta be succinct. I gotta be succinct.
Yeah. Okay. What's your writing routine? When you sit down to write, what does it look like?
Don't open anything else. And I use an app called IA Writer that highlights just, like, the sentence you're in. And fades out the stuff before and after. So nothing else open. Do not disturb on. And then I just go. I do use a Pomodoro timer to be like, start typing. And I type first and then see if it's good after. That kind of thing. You got to just
get
start typing. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Sometimes, and lately with better dictation that we have now, dictation actually just toward the end started to be something I was using where you could really just get it all out and then you just clean it up like crazy.
Yeah.
So
like
dictation was a late ad that I would, if, oh my gosh, when. Right now I'm like, never again. But at some point, if another book, starts to stir, I think dictation would be a part of it.
Okay. I like that.
Beverage of choice when you write?
Caffeine. And, addicts can't be choosers, so any kind. Any kind's fine. Yeah.
And I guess you answered this already. How do you write? So you're on a keyboard with that very particular program that you use that focuses. Yeah. I like that. But you mentioned dictating as well. That's really interesting. I might need to try that too. Because it's true. It's gotten better now. It actually works.
Yeah. It cleans up stuff. Like we use, what's it called? Whisper Flow.
Okay.
Is that it? And it kind of uses AI to, like, where you're like, now hold on, wait, I wanted to, it will kind of be like, oh, all of that was just filler words. Here's the sentence. So there's not quite so much cleaning up and typing to get to the good stuff.
Nice.
All right. Yeast or cake donuts?
That's not a valid question. They're both
both.
They're both completely and totally appropriate.
As long as they're both 50 cents, right?
What was the donut you were looking at?
The donut was a cake donut.
Cake donut.
Old-fashioned cake donut. You put it in the microwave. As my dad would say, you nuke it. That was always what he would say for the microwave. You nuke it for 10 seconds. and it comes out. You make sure there's a napkin under there because it's going to kind of ooze a little bit. But you, yeah, it comes out. It just tastes like you just came out of the oven. It's phenomenal.
Well, maybe this is a me thing. Maybe people don't have a preference. It's just give me a donut. But I like both, but I always prefer the cake donut.
I prefer the yeasty donut. Yeah, interesting.
I mean, I've had a couple bad cake donuts where you're like, it's too bouncy. It needs to be soft. It needs to break apart. There's a texture to it that has to be there. Otherwise, it would be yeast. Yeah, it's easier to mess up a cake donut than a yeast donut.
That makes sense. What does Julie think about the book?
She liked the stories. Yeah, I don't even know if she read.
She likes the part that you didn't write.
Yeah. And I hope like she saw her name in there where I was like, hey, here you are. But she would just be like, she wants to read the stories. She's all about hearing about other people. So
that tracks with what I know about her.
That part of it. Yeah.
All right. What do your kids think about being in a published book?
Their favorite part was the dedication. Not the dedication, what do you call it? The acknowledgments at the end. I won't give it away, but all the kids really liked that. Like where I gave them the kids an acknowledgement right at the end of the book. So
yeah, it's good.
Nice.
What's something you spend money on that people might roll their eyes at?
Gosh, you see, I'm going through a list.
There's so much.
Yeah, there's a good bit. We use this salt supplement. Salt is the new thing. People supplement with salt called Element.
I'm nodding my head like I know what you're talking about. I've never heard that. I've never heard of this. Don't we get enough salt in our diets?
The cheapest commodity you have in the world, and they're like, let's mark that up, and I'm like, I'll buy that. That's what it's so obnoxious.
We get so much salt in our diet. People are like, oh, everybody has a salt deficiency.
Salt was like this. Salt was Satan incarnate, and now everyone's like, do salt, more salt. We need more salt.
Why do you need a supplement? Just put it on your French fries or something.
I like the flavor.
Put it on your, whatever.
You said roll your eyes at, so I'm like,
you're not. Fair.
No.
I'm rolling. I'm rolling my eyes.
I should roll their eyes at how much I give to charity. They just think that was really obnoxious. Oh my gosh, that guy, he's so generous. Oh,
so annoying.
Dude, I just should have done that one.
I love that answer because I thought this is where woodworking would come in, or I thought maybe you'd go to golf.
Yeah.
So I love the answer.
As you know, Ernie, I popped. This is gross, but I tore the bicep off the bone. As that apparently happens to people at my age. And so golf is it's just got to put it aside for 6 months, which means the season will end and I will have played one time for an entire season.
It's a shame.
So needless to say, my bank account is just bursting right now with 0 golf in play.
Yeah.
But you know what? You're going to come back better because now you've got this 6-month stretch where your mental side, it's not engaged and you're going to forget everything. You're going to come back without thinking, and you're just going to be able to be athletic.
Interesting.
I sure hope you're right.
Interesting. It's so what you're saying is practicing golf makes you worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. My 16-year-old has just proven that. He practices very little, and he's so much better than me.
There you go.
All right, friends. Never Worry About Money Again is available wherever you buy books. So go out, grab yourself a copy, or you can just go to neverworryaboutmoneyagain.com. Jesse, thanks so much for coming on the show. It was so fun to talk with you. And
love it, guys.
I love this book.
Yeah, thank you. All right. We'll see you guys next time.